Hi everyone, I'm back with my husband Scott, just like I promised. We are going to go over just a few questions today. I don't have a lot of new ones from the last video that we did, so I kind of asked some very similar questions, just maybe in a slightly different way. So for those of you who didn't see our last video, I guess this will be good for you. And for those of you that have, hopefully we can cover the ground in a different way. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is my amazing husband Scott.
Hi.
One of the questions that was sent in to me was, have you ever had to, or did you have to come to realize about your misconceptions about Tourette Syndrome when I told you? Like, when I told you had Tourette Syndrome, what was your first thought?
Yeah, I would say I did. Maybe not a lot. I only knew what what I saw in TV shows and movies up to that point, which I know is one of your biggest struggles, is getting past that and making, allowing people to realize it's a lot more than that. And that is all I knew about it. So I would say, yes, I did have to come to that realization and realize that I was very uneducated about the topic. I did have a friend growing up that had Tourette's. I don't know if I really knew that is what he had, or that he was dealing with that. I wish I would have known more growing up. You definitely made me realize that is, we probably did pick on him a little bit, and I'm guilty of that as well. And it was all in good fun, and it wasn't behind his back, and he played along and didn't really ever correct us or really say too much about it. But it did make me realize that there was a lot to learn, a lot that I didn't know up to that point.
Do you think that it was good that I told you the very first day? Do you think it would have made a difference whenever I told you?
I do think it's good that you told me right away. I think...
Even though we only knew each other for like a couple hours?
Yes. Yes, even though. I think that's one of those things that it would have been... I think it could have been an obstacle for us if you hid it and didn't tell me right away. Maybe not an obstacle, but I think it would have been a little more challenging if you would have told me later on, just because it would have been a brand new, huge piece of information I didn't know about you, and then all of a sudden I would. Getting it out there right away, I think actually showed a lot or told a lot about you and your personality, and that you weren't afraid to. And, if I was in your situation, I think I would rather do it that way, just because, you need to know that a person, if you're going to try to get close with them or date them or whatever the case might be, that they're going to be okay with it and understanding and willing to learn and, willing to react the right way to it. So I do think it's a very good thing that you told me right away. And I respect that you did it. I know that probably isn't easy, but I do think it was good for us that you did.
Do you think you would have been able to tell that I was like hiding something? I mean, you always know when I'm upset and I'm trying not to tell you why, but...
I think at a certain point, definitely. As much as you can attempt to conceal your tics and, hide them on the days that they're bad, I think they would have come out at a certain point. I think it could have made things awkward.
Right.
Because then I probably would have been hesitant to bring it up. I don't want to point out if I think, if I'm noticing something different or strange or whatever it might be. So yeah, I think it could have affected things for sure.
Do you think it brings like more positivity in a relationship, or more negativity into like what we have and everything?
From a relationship standpoint, I think absolutely brings more positive than negative. I don't think it's really ever drug us down. From a relationship standpoint, I guess for one reason, because I'd like to think that I was very understanding about it and that I handled it okay. The negative aspects of it affect you more than they affect us. So, in turn, I guess that it could affect both of us, because I'm here for you, and, I try to help and do what I can, but I don't think it has negatively impacted our relationship at all, though.
So my harder question, I know you don't think so, and I know you don't like when I say it, but I A lot of the times I feel like I'm a burden to you because I feel like I'm a burden because you just take care of me all the time, because on top of Tourette Syndrome, people watching might not know, but I have a lot of medical problems, and I feel like you're just constantly having to take care of me.
You don't have medical.
And worry about me. And sometimes I get really scared that it's going to be too much for you, and you just won't want to do it anymore.
Well, you're crazy. No, obviously I have to understand where you're coming from with that, but no, it's never been a burden on me. I feel bad more than anything. It affects you in such a bigger way than it affects me overall. You're the one dealing with the burden of having to go through it. So it's never, it's not something that, makes me feel a strong way that it brings me down or makes my life more difficult. I mean, I just want to be there for you. I just want to find different ways, or the best ways, to make it better and make it more bearable, and get through it together. We've been together for almost 10. We've known each other for over 10 years now, and if I would have thought it would have been that big of an obstacle or a burden to me, A, I would be kind of a crappy person, and B, I wouldn't be here 10 years later making a video about it, and our house and our life, being married for 6 years. So no, it was never a burden, and it won't be. It'll never be.
Do you have any advice for people whose spouses feel the same way that I do?
Being a burden?
Yeah. When somebody like me is at one of those low points where I'm in a bad headspace about it.
We all have our stuff, everyone, nobody's perfect. Everyone has their own, whether it's obstacles or medical issues or stress in their lives or anything. I get migraines. I've had migraines since I was a kid, and it's something I've always had to deal with. And I understand where you're coming from, because I feel like sometimes my migraines, when I have to lay in a blacked out room and take medicine and sleep it off, or just lay there because I'm sick or whatever from a migraine. I feel the same way, but so it would be, we have to realize that even if someone that we're with, or our spouse, significant other, or friend, if they have something going on, we have to remember that we have things going on too. Everybody does. And, I want to respect your situation and help you, just like I know you help me when I have headaches, and you understand, and you do the best you can to get through it with me too. So that's what I would say. If you're feeling that it's a burden, or if anyone's feeling like that person or that situation's a burden, take a step back and really try to put yourself in the other person's situation, and remember that we all have stuff that we deal with. So it's got to go both ways, especially if you're talking about in a relationship. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. This kind of goes with that same question, which is my last question, is what advice do you have for somebody that's dating somebody with Tourette Syndrome, or married to somebody with Tourette Syndrome? What advice do you have for them to help them get through it, or just in general being in that kind of relationship, because it can add a completely different thing into the mixture of a relationship that most people don't deal with. You have to worry about me taking in public. I get nervous that you get embarrassed about it, or if somebody's going to say something.
Yeah, and I know those days are going to happen, and we've been fortunate for the most part.
Would you be embarrassed of me?
No, that people are going to say something, or that we're in a situation out in public. I know that can be tough for you too. Advice, I don't want to feel like I'm not here to give relationship advice, so I would say it's going to sound like that anyways, but it's the small things. And I think both of us in our marriage have focused on the little things, that we do for each other, for all the years we've been married and together. I think that is such a big deal and such a big part of a relationship. And I think it goes, it might be even stronger in a scenario like that. Whether it's, a little thing of playing with your hair, or, just trying to get your mind off of it, or put my arm around you if we're out somewhere and you're taking and you have to stop for a minute, and, not making a big deal about it, not bringing it up in a verbal way. Most of the time, I don't think I really even say anything. I stop, I take a step back, I'm with you, I stay with you, I don't walk ahead of you. And, I just try to relax you a little bit and, make sure you're okay. I'll ask if you're okay, of course, and if there's anything I could do. But, I think that's just in general. I mean, some situations might need a little extra attention or a little extra effort there. But I think if you're in a relationship for the right reasons and with the right person, that should happen anyways. I don't really think it's anything extra or special that I do. I just think that's kind of what our relationship's built off of. So, it doesn't seem like I'm doing anything extra in those circumstances.
Well, you are, but that was my last question, so you're done now. Hopefully this was helpful to somebody out there watching.
I have to plug her event coming up, because I don't know if she's done it on this YouTube channel yet.
I have once.
Okay, she has once. But it's a big deal. So shout out to my wife here. She does a lot of great things other than just these videos, which are amazing in themselves. But she is hosting a 5K Saturday, June 8th at Kent State Trumbull here in Warren, Ohio, where we live. We actually both went to school at Kent State, so that's kind of cool that we're having it at the college campus. And she's raising money for the Brad Cohen Foundation. Last year, she raised money for the Tourettes Association. She raised over $5,000, which is legit and awesome. She's going to beat that this year. I have full confidence in it. You can register online. You can go to her Facebook page. I'm sure she can throw a link down on this video.
Yes.
To do it as well. But all the support is awesome, and it really means a lot to both of us. And I'm here to support her along the way, and I want to do what I can. And I don't think she mentions it enough. And we really want to try to get as many people out there as we can. We're going to have a food truck there, serving breakfast. First 100 participants that register get a t-shirt.
Raffle items.
Raffle items. Top 3 boys and girls get medals for the 5K. All the times are going to be tracked online, and it's a full-blown 5K event. So if you guys can come out and support or donate or register or do whatever you got to do, we really, really appreciate it. And yeah, so thanks.
Thanks. Like I was
She's
saying,
awesome.
No, I'm not. Like I was saying, thank you for watching. I really hope that this was helpful. If you can, come to the 5K. Make sure you come. If there's any other questions that you have, I can try and answer them on my own. If there's any other topics you want me to cover, please make sure to ask me. I have no problem answering them. And like I said, I hope this was helpful. And thanks for watching.